We present HUMOS, a human motion model conditioned on body shape. Humans come in a variety of different shapes and sizes, and this diversity significantly influences how people move. For instance, when prompted to do the same motion, such as running in place as shown here, people with different body shapes will perform the same motion differently. Our goal is to generate natural, physically plausible, and dynamically stable human motions conditioned on body shape. Unfortunately, existing state-of-the-art human motion models typically ignore differences in human motion based on body shape. They use a normalized canonical skeleton or average body shape, leading to homogenization of motions across human bodies. This limits the diversity of motions and produces motions that may not align with the physical attributes of the person's body. We argue that to achieve physical realism and motion diversity, it is critical to condition generated human motions on body shape. While datasets like HUMOS contain a large collection of 3D motion capture sequences containing diverse motions performed by the same person, we seldom find different identities performing the same motion. Training a shape-conditioned model in a fully supervised manner requires paired identity and motion data. This lack of paired data prevents supervised training. To address this, we developed HUMOS, a transformer-based conditional variational autoencoder that is conditioned on identity features such as body shape and sex. We use a novel self-supervised training strategy that leverages cycle consistency within the encoder-decoder step. Given an input motion for a particular identity A, the HUMOS encoder outputs an encoding in an identity-agnostic latent space. The decoder receives this encoding along with a target identity B and outputs a motion for the new body. We employ cycle consistency by reversing the forward step, this time using the generated motion as input and the identity A of the original motion as the target identity. However, cycle consistency alone is not enough, as the network can learn trivial solutions that ignore the target identity by copying the source motion to the target body. Such a trivial solution, though, will result in foot sliding, ground penetration, floating, and dynamic instabilities in the generated motions. To prevent this, our key insight is to incorporate differentiable intuitive physics and dynamic stability terms as training losses on the generated target motion. Specifically, we propose differentiable physics terms that address common issues like foot sliding, ground penetration, and unrealistic floating effects. Our key contribution here is a novel dynamic stability term that models the interaction between a body's center of mass, center of pressure, and the zero moment point. Assuming flat ground, the zero moment point is the point on the ground where the horizontal component of the moment of the ground reaction force is zero. We visualize the zero moment point, center of pressure, the center of mass, and the base of support in a walk sequence here. If this point lies within the base of support, the zero moment point is equivalent to the center of pressure and the motion is considered dynamically stable. We use the concept of dynamic stability to extend the notion of static stability used by Tripathi et al. To bodies in motion. Since no existing baseline directly addresses shape-conditioned motion reconstruction, we create new baselines which use HUMOS, a state-of-the-art motion generation model, to generate motions for an average body. We then use the commercial Rococo system to retarget the generated motion to new bodies. In the main paper, we describe all baselines, but for simplicity, here we show only the most competitive, which is HUMOS Rococo. We additionally remove ground penetration in our baselines by translating the whole motion such that the lowest vertex in the sequence is on the ground. We call this HUMOS Rococo ground. Unlike HUMOS, HUMOS Rococo suffers from ground penetration, such as in the walk motion shown here. While HUMOS Rococo ground does not have ground penetration artifacts, this heuristic-based adjustment comes at the cost of increased floating artifacts. In contrast, HUMOS simultaneously improves both ground penetration and floating, without any post-hoc processing steps. HUMOS motions have less foot sliding than all baselines, as shown in the jumping jack sequence here. Here we show some more comparisons for running in place. To compare with our baselines, we perform a human study with Amazon Mechanical Turk. We show randomly sampled videos generated by both our method and the baselines, and ask participants to select their response to the question, how realistic is the motion given this body shape, on a Likert scale of scores between 1, completely unrealistic, to 5, completely realistic. Our motions are clearly preferred compared to both Temos Rococo and Temos Rococo Ground. HUMOS motions receive an average rating of 3.64 out of 5 compared to 3.25 for Temos Rococo and 3.19 for Temos Rococo Ground on the perceptual study. HUMOS is capable of generating the same motion for different target bodies. Here we show the same walk motion generated for 6 different individuals with different body types and sexes. Here is another jumping motion with different target identities. And a running motion. Finally, HUMOS has a few failure cases. Since we don't explicitly model self-penetration, HUMOS-generated motions sometimes have self-penetrations, especially when using larger body shapes. In general, addressing self-penetration poses a significant challenge to all baselines, including Temos Rococo. In summary, we presented HUMOS, a novel method for shape-conditioned motion generation that uses physically inspired constraints to allow for self-supervised disentanglement of character motion and identity. For more details, please refer to our paper. Thank you for watching.